Hi friends, and welcome to my channel. I'm Gio, and this week's story is called I Said Yes. I sat in the waiting room, holding my Jazmin. I'm not sure who was more nervous, me or her. Jazmin has lived with me since I was 14. I'm 24 now. That makes her a senior, and the years are catching up to her. She doesn't jump like she once did, and when I take her out for walks, she walks a little slower, but she can still run, just not as far. I'm Oscar Little, recently graduated in computer science. I work at Uninet, a network provider. The pay is good, because I now have my own small house and yard. It's big enough for me and my dog. If I ever find the right person, it's big enough for them too. Jazmin is a golden retriever Yorkie mix, predominantly golden brown with dark brown paws, a dark brown left ear, and a dark brown saddle on her back. She's the love of my life. I pulled the old blanket, a worn, well-loved baby blanket with light blue soft fabric with rainbows and hearts on it, tight around my dog. I bought that blanket special for her the day I first took her home, and she slept with it and me almost every night since then. My old boyfriend, Chuck, did not like dogs. He made me choose, him or Jazmin. Of course I chose Jazmin. I didn't have to think about it. 2 weeks ago, when Jazmin had her shots, Jazmin scratched her cheek, specifically under the right eye. The vet had a very concerned look, and she rubbed under Jazmin's eyes and said, "Have you noticed all the tears?" Jazmin suffers from allergies because she keeps sneezing. They get me at this time of the year too, I said. The vet lifted one of Jazmin's lips and took a look at the gums. I don't suspect allergies at all. Dogs with a toothache can only relieve the pain by scratching on the affected spot. A bad ache brings tears, the vet had said. She took a look at all of my dog's gums and teeth, focusing on those beneath the eye. The upper gum was swollen, and one of the teeth was an odd gray. The vet slightly shook her head, not looking up from her examination. Upper tooth infections can irritate the canine nasal cavity and cause nasal discharges. That's why she sneezes and has a runny nose. "It's not allergies?" I asked. The vet finally looked at me, her face kind, and she said, "No, I suspect an abscessed tooth, and look at the way the gums are infected. We'll start with an antibiotic, and as soon as you can schedule it, we need to get that tooth out, and maybe the one next to it. I'd also recommend a complete tooth cleaning and oral examination at the same time." She gave me a sad look. Jazmin is in a lot of pain. That one sentence ruined my day, ruined my week, ruined my month. All I could think about was my baby. How could she have a tooth that bad? I didn't feed her anything sugary. Was I a bad dad for letting this happen? The vet gave me a comforting smile, somehow knowing what was going on in my head, and she said, "Don't feel bad. It's the same with people. Teeth can go bad for the dumbest of reasons. I had to get a crown and root canal because I had a cracked tooth and didn't know it. One bite of chunky peanut butter and the tooth collapsed." Jazmin and I are back today for the teeth cleaning and tooth extraction. It sounds simple, but I'm scared to death. It's my Jazmin. I know who's more nervous now. Me. My stomach is crawling up my spine and my foot constantly taps the floor. The vet clinic is very busy this morning. A lot of people are here to check their pets in for boarding or for grooming, and a couple for surgery. From what I've heard, Jazmin is one of 3 dogs scheduled for dental work. I hate going to the dentist. Taking Jazmin for a tooth extraction made it worse. One advantage, Jazmin would be unconscious during the process. A dog barked from the direction of the exam rooms. Jazmin lifted her head and whined. She was getting nervous. An intern walked out, a little shorter than me and wearing light green scrubs. He had a casual smile and dark hair and a tattoo on his left wrist of a Celtic knot. "Oscar Little, is Jazmin ready?" he asked. I stood up, cradling my dog. "Is it time?" I hesitantly asked. He smiled, revealing a dimple in his cheek. Nervous? You don't need to worry. The doctors here are very good. I'm Bryan, and I'll take care of her. I assume you have all the forms signed, and the receptionists went over all the details? Any questions? He said. They mentioned something about possible complications because of the anesthesia? I asked. Bryan ruffled the fur on Jazmin's head and said, Older dogs sometimes have difficulty. Their systems have slowed down so their bodies don't process the drugs as fast. But because of Jazmin's pain, she has to have the procedure before her teeth get worse. Don't worry, I'll watch over her. He took Jazmin from my arms, leaving me with a little blanket and a case of nerves the size of Mount St. Helens. That's a volcano. My dog looked at me with her tender eyes, pleading. I imagined her saying, Please, Dad, don't abandon me. Why did it feel like it was the last time I would see her? Did they explain that you can pick her up any time after 3 and before 7? We close at 7:30, Bryan said. I have the day off, so I'll be here right at 3, I said. Go out to lunch, go shopping, buy some baby food, see a movie, just relax. Because tonight, I prescribe your favorite streaming service and home delivery. Get ready to cuddle Jazmin for the night, Bryan said. Baby food? I asked. She'll have a sore mouth for several days. Until she heals, keep her food really soft. I promise I'll make sure she's okay, Bryan said. I watched as Bryan took my dog into the back. Jazmin looked back at me with her big brown eyes and broke my heart. I whispered goodbye as Bryan took her out of sight. Oh, God, I thought I was scared before, but it's nothing like now. I had to get out of here before I started crying. About 2, I got a call from Meredith, my boss at Uninet. Oscar, we have a problem. I know it's your day off, but we need your help. The servers won't sync without the new update, and we need them online for the backup. You've dealt with this the last 2 times we had to update them. Can you come in? I'll authorize overtime pay, and pick any weekend. You'll get 3 days off. I looked at my watch and said, One problem. I picked my dog up from the vet at 3. Jazmin will be drowsy, but I can't leave her alone. Meredith seemed to relax a little. I understand. I have a cat. 1 large box with a blanket, a water dish, and she can camp out under your desk. Leave it to me. Thanks, I said. My day should have been easy and relaxing. It wasn't. I couldn't eat. I couldn't focus on anything. Not until Jazmin was safe. I went to the vet, arriving exactly at 3. I had Jazmin's blanket, her favorite fuzzy koala, and several bottles of chicken and rice baby food. After telling the receptionist who I was and who I waited for, I took a seat and waited. I hated waiting rooms. I hate the calming music they play. I hate sitting while waiting and waiting and waiting. 15 minutes later, Bryan came out from the back. His tired eyes found mine. He didn't smile. He didn't carry my dog. How's Jazmin? I asked, a sudden panic rising. Bryan folded his arms and looked at me. I should have called you, but it's been busy here. Jazmin hasn't woken up. My grandmother died years ago. I must have been 12 or 13. The sudden shock of hearing about her death had slammed me hard. I didn't go to school for a couple of days. Bryan's words had the same effect. Jazmin hadn't woken up. I took a deep breath, fighting the sudden moisture in my eyes. Oh, God. My dog hadn't woken up. Oscar, Bryan asked. I took a step back, my hands crumpling the light blue blanket. The world stopped. No, it can't be. Why hadn't Jazmin woken up? Oscar, Bryan asked. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know what to feel. She was fine this morning, but she hadn't woken up. Would I ever see her again? Oscar, Bryan said, with a little more force. I want to see her, I whispered. There was something sad about Bryan's eyes when he said, Not possible. The doctor doesn't want her disturbed. Like I said, I'll watch over her. I will call you if anything changes. I don't want to leave her, but I have to, I said, and explained why. Bryan gave me his cute, but now sad smile, and nodded. I went to work, only to discover that Meredith had gone overboard. She found the softest blanket, a heating pad, a sturdy large plastic container, a big bowl of water, and had bought a couple of fuzzy toys to keep Jazmin company. "Jazmin hasn't woken up," I said. I couldn't keep the tremor out of my voice. Meredith frowned and said, "Call them every hour." I got to work on the servers. The problem was in the software. For some reason, the designers had been too strict with the firewalls. First, I had to download the update to a separate system, then take the servers offline and completely uninstall the firewalls. It was a slower process than I liked. I authorized the update to begin working through the software. How was my dog? I called the vet. No change. My stomach did flip-flops. Every few minutes, I checked my phone. Bryan finally left a message, about 6. "I'm sorry. No news." The fear exploded inside me. Not my Jazmin. What if she never woke up? What if she had a bad reaction to the anesthesia? What if I never got to hold her again? I had to leave my computer and walk around. The knot in my stomach paralyzed me. Once the update was over, I had to reinstall the firewalls, make sure they were working, and then bring the servers online. I lost track of time. I checked my phone. 8 o'clock. Still no new messages. If Jazmin had gotten worse, wouldn't Bryan have called me? I called the vet clinic. All I got was their out-of-office message and the hours they were open. I stopped by the vet clinic, but the lights were out and their parking lot empty. I knocked on the door, but nobody answered. I rang their phone again and again, but nobody answered. Defeated and feeling like total trash, I drove home. Upon opening the door, Jazmin's bed was straight ahead of me, tucked in a corner by the couch. Her full food dishes were next to her little bed. I set her blanket, the baby food, and the fuzzy koala by her bed. This would be the first night I would be away from my dog. Oh God, she hadn't woken up. The panic rippled through me. What if she doesn't wake up? I should eat something, but I'm not hungry. I sat on the couch, staring at the blank flat screen. My apartment felt empty, and I felt alone. I had depended on my Jazmin and her unconditional love. She always knew when I was sad and brought me her leash so we could go for a walk. She always slept next to me. Chuck hadn't liked that. "No dogs in the bed," he had shouted. We fought about that one, and I had made up a bed on the floor where Jazmin could sleep next to me. Chuck gave his ultimatum the next day. Jazmin kept me from feeling lonely. Except tonight. What do I do if she doesn't wake up? I received a text from an unknown number. "I bet you haven't eaten." "Who is this?" I texted back. "Bryan from the vet clinic. I've got Jazmin and I'm bringing her to you. I need your address. Do you prefer Chinese or burgers or pizza? I'm buying." I gave him my address without really thinking about it. 15 minutes later, somebody knocked on my door. I opened it and saw Jazmin cradled in Bryan's arms. Her head kept nodding as if she were about to fall asleep. My shoulders finally relaxed. For a second, my vision blurred. "Jazmin," I said. I took her and cuddled her and held her tight. She fell asleep in my arms. "I told you I'd watch her, but it looks like I needed to watch over you too," Bryan said, his smile warm and comforting. "I had a feeling that you hadn't eaten anything, so I brought takeout. I want you to sit on the couch, hold your baby, find something to stream, and eat. Intern's orders." "Thank you," I said. "Anytime. See you around," he said, and turned to leave. Suddenly, I didn't want to be alone. This man had gone out of his way to do something nice. I blurted out, "Wait, would you like to join us, me and Jazmin? I think Jazmin would like that." His cute smile with the dimple returned. "Love to." We streamed until way too late, and then we talked even later. The next day at work, Jazmin slept on the bed Meredith had set up under my desk, and my dog lightly snored. Bryan had explained last night that it might be a day or so before the anesthesia completely left Jazmin's system. Expect her to sleep a lot. I had an idea. Bryan had called me last night. I had his number. I didn't know much about Bryan, but I knew the important things. He liked dogs and streaming movies and talking until way too late. He was kind and caring. He didn't have to watch my dog after hours or bring her to me, but he did, as well as bought me dinner. I sent him a text. Do you want to do lunch? My turn to buy. 5 minutes later, his answer came back. Let's make it a date. How about dinner? Lupita's Mexican Grill, okay? They have a dance floor. Of course I said yes. The end. Thank you everybody for joining me. By the way, this story is actually based on a true experience. We'll talk to you later. See you next Wednesday. Peace.